Hi, for today's video, our objective is to make a model similar to this one and as well as to label it with its proper measurements. And for us to be able to complete our side objectives, we will use the software called Solidworks as an aid. And then after opening the Solidworks, you should choose the Sketch tab. And then beside this icon, we should choose the center rectangle from its drop-down menu. And after choosing a command, it will immediately prompt 3 types of plane, wherein we should choose one. On this particular value, we will be choosing the top plane. Then here, we should choose the top view. Then we need to start from the origin. Then from there, we should drag our crosshair anywhere, just like that. Then press escape, and to fully define our sketch, we should use the smart dimension to specify the correct measurements or dimensions of our sketch. And the particular length of this rectangle should be 3.5 inches or 3.75. Press enter. And now the height should be exactly 3. Press enter. Now our sketch is fully defined. All we need to do now is to put 4 small circles near its 4 corners. Now select any part of our circle to start the circle, and then over your mouse to specify its radius. And on this time we can use any radius. Since again we will be using the smart dimension to specify its correct radius or diameter. And its correct diameter is 0.38. Press enter. And now, as you can see, our sketch is fully defined since the location of this small circle is not yet specified. And for us to do that, we should specify its distance from the origin, just like that. And its distance from the origin is 1.36. And press enter. From here to here, the distance should be exactly 1 inch. Press enter. Now we can exit the smart dimension. Then after that, we will use the linear sketch pattern, and then click this circle, and the spacing on x-axis should be changed from 0.10 inch. We will change it to 2.76 inches. And then for the y-axis, we should change the number of instances to 2. And then from 0.10 inch as its y-axis distance, it should be changed to exactly 2 inches. And press enter. As you can see, the preview of our linear pattern is shown, and this preview is acceptable, therefore we can choose to check. Now we need to add relation on these 4 circles, and to easily do that, all we need to do is access this drop down menu and then choose fully defined sketch. Then the entities to fully define is all entities in the sketch. And now all we need to do is hit the calculate button. And instantly our sketch is now fully defined. Therefore we can now hit the check button. And just for the uniformity of our labels, we will just adjust this. After doing those steps, we can now access the features tab and then choose extruded boss or base. Now we need to extrude our sketch to 0.38 inch. Then we need to hit the check mark. Then we will use the fillet command. Then control select the 4 corners of our sketch, and then its radius should be 0.50 inch, just like that. Okay. After doing that, we will need to access the front plane. And then under the reference geometry, we will choose the plane. Then the distance should be 1.5 inch. And since the preview looks acceptable, therefore we can hit the check mark. Then click the plane one and then choose sketch. Then click normal view. Again, we will use the center rectangle command. Then the center again is the origin, and for the meantime we should set its size randomly, and we will correct it through the use of smart dimension. Its length should be 2.26 inches. And its height should be 0.06 inch. Then press escape. And again we will use the features tab, and this time we should choose the extruded cut. We will be changing the view. Now the depth of the extrusion should also be 3 inches, just like the preview. Then press OK. Now from the front view, you can now see that there is a change on our sketch as a result of the extruded cut. Now we can move on to our next step. From the right plane, we should click the normal tool. Now we will be drawing a line starting on this point. And another line which lies on a certain angle. We can press escape. And we should control click these two lines and then choose the construction geometry. Now we can set the dimensions for these lines. This line should be 2.66 inches. For this line, as I mentioned earlier, it lies on a certain angle, which is 30 degrees. And its length should be 2.38 inches. And there you go. Now we can escape smart dimension. Now we can click this to exit sketch. And then we will be changing the view of our sketch. And on features tab, we should again access the geometry reference. Choose plane and choose this line as the first reference and this side as the second reference. Then hit check mark. then again, we will again change the view for us to work easily on our sketch. Then we can resize the plane. Now we can draw on this plane, but first we need to convert this entity. Then choose the center rectangle. We will start on the midpoint of this particular line and set the dimension of our rectangle randomly for the meantime. And again, through the use of smart dimension, we will correct its dimension. It should be 2.38 inches on its height, and for its length it should be 1.88 inches. Now we can have the relations so that we can easily draw on our sketch. The next step is to make again the 4 circles near the 4 corners of our rectangle. We will use the center circle. Specify its center point randomly for the meantime, as well as its radius. And now we will specify its correct radius, which is 0.31. And its distance from the center on the y-axis is 0.87, while on the x-axis that is 0.63 inch. Again, our sketch is now fully defined. We will use now the linear sketch pattern. Again, we will click the circle, and for the direction 1, the distance is 1.74. And for the direction 2, the number of instances is 2, while its distance should be 1.26. And based on the preview, it looks like it's acceptable, therefore we can hit the check mark. All we need to do now is to make this sketch fully defined through the use of smart dimension. Now our sketch is fully defined, therefore we can close the dialog. All we need to do is to select its corners. Just click its four corners. And specify the radius, which is again 0.31. Then click OK. Then through the use of extruded boss or base, the depth should be 0.31. It is acceptable, therefore we can check it. Now we have this kind of figure. We can now go to our next step. Since we are drawing, we will be drawing in this part of our sketch. We can hide for the meantime this part of our sketch. We can do that by clicking this and then click the hide icon. Now we will draw on this part of our sketch, and using the corner rectangle, we will make rectangle on this part as well as here. Now this side and this side should be equal. Then the origin and the midpoint of this particular line should be vertical. We will now use the same command to remove this excess line, and then we should make these two lines equal. Now it's time to specify the thickness of this line, which is 0.31 inch, and from the origin up to here, it should have a distance of 0.155 inch. Now we can unhide all of the parts that we have hidden earlier. Now we can exit the sketch. Then from bind, our end condition is to up the surface, wherein our surface should be this one. Therefore, the preview should look like that. Then since it is acceptable, we can now hit the check mark. Now by setting our sketch into its front view, we can now draw a rectangular shape on this part of our sketch. Just click it and then choose sketch. Then use a regular line and start here up to the midpoint of this particular line. Then here and back here. Now we have a rectangular shape. We can now use the extruded cut command for a better preview. And as shown on the model or on the preview, it is already acceptable, therefore we can hit the check mark and it will look like this one. Now going to its side view, we will click this part and then choose sketch, and we will make again a rectangular shape. Then use the extruded cut. Then the end condition should be up to vertex, wherein the vertex should be this one. Then hit OK, and it should look like this one. Now all we need to do is to make the process, or to do the process on the other side. Now, what we are lacking on this part is the circle on this part. Therefore, we will be drawing definitely on this part of our sketch. Now, using the circle command, we will draw circle, 2 circles with the same center point. Now we will be specifying the radius or the diameter of our circle, and it should be 0.50 on the inner circle and 0.75 inch on the outer. With its center point having a distance of 0.50 1.38 from this particular line. And the distance of 0.50 from the origin. Again, our sketch is now fully defined. Then we can go to our features tab and then choose extruded boss or base. Now we will choose the extruded boss or base, and it should be from the offset with the offset value of 159 inch, and the direction 1 should have a distance of 1.38 inches. Then we should reverse the direction. Then for the contour, it should be the outermost circle. And then we should hit the check mark. And for us to make a hole on this circle, we will now use the extruded cap. And from the sketch 17, we will change the selected contour, and now the selected contour should be the smaller circle, and the direction 1 should be through all, and then with the direction 2 should be just up to next. And just like that, we can now hit the check mark, and now we have a hole. On our figure. And now we have achieved our final figure or final model.